record.
Hey guys, how you doing? Right, I'm doing a nice little interview with a good friend of mine, Bodhi, who has been in like me the gym game probably all your working life. Most of your working life?
Just over 20 years, I'd say.
20 years, and because I'm a lot older than him, I'm probably 33 years. So yes, that's over 50 years worth of experience. This is gold, right? This is potential gold.
Watch this space.
So what we did, I asked you lot about questions you'd like me to present to Bodhi, and I'll present them to other guys of the industry who I respect in terms of their knowledge, their training ethics, how hard they train, and what I see them doing in the gym. We've had the pleasure of training a few times now, and it isn't pretty. It's never nice, and yet it's amazing. So, first of all, how did you get into the gym scene?
Probably when I was 18 years old. I think like a lot of us probably do. I think when I was sort of 15, 16, my mum got me my first weight set from Argos. Had the old wader chart up on the wall, but enjoyed it. Was doing a lot of martial arts as a kid. I think that was in the days of Van Damme.
Yeah.
So everyone wanted to look like Van Damme and kick high. And then when I was 18, I joined my first gym. This was back in the southeast. So there's a gym called the Academy, which at the time was a real mecca.
Right.
It was a fantastic gym owned by a gentleman called Angelito Lester, who competed next to Dorian Yates once upon a time. Spanish guy, fantastic physique, nice guy. Learned a lot from him. Fast forward a few years, I ended up working in Minories in London for a chain that was called Holmes Place, and these were very prestigious health clubs.
Yeah, top end.
Yeah, very high top end. Not somewhere I would work out, even though we did, because we didn't really have the time to go elsewhere. And I trained through their own academy to degree level with anatomy, physiology, nutrition, etc., etc., which was up to what would now be a level 4. Strength and conditioning, all that sort of stuff. And then I sort of was there from the age of 21, probably for about 5-6 years. And then I went alone. I ended up I was self-employed. I worked in numerous gymnasiums through London, parts of Essex, Kent, evolving.
Yeah.
Had a good fortune of working with some really, really good guys over the years that were, I mean, bodybuilding was my passion at the time, especially around 2009, where I got in contest shape under the name of a guy called Dave Kingham, a fantastic guy, scary, and you just had to follow your diet with Dave, and just some top amateurs, even guys that had a IFBB pro card at the time. Was training with a few of them, and you learn a lot. You learn a hell of a lot. Which I'm sure we'll cover, but it's almost like what you learn on your course, you kind of forget, because this is real world, real life stuff that works.
I think even at my tender old age, I still learn every day of people.
Oh, for sure.
And it's lovely. I think that thirst for knowledge is so important when you're bodybuilding.
Yeah.
There's so much bullshit around gyms, so much bad knowledge you can pick up on, bad techniques, bad myths, gym bro science, or whatever they call it. So I think it is, if you're starting out, for example, get into good habits, watch good people who have good form, watch people in good shape, and talk to them. Go and approach them and pick them up.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is that you just said it. I mean, bro science. I mean, it depends what bro you're following. I've met Mark. I moved to Devon, Paynton, now Torquay. I moved here 5.5 months ago. I think I stumbled across Mark's lovely shop, and Mark, more or less about a week into being here, I hadn't trained, just being transparent, I hadn't trained properly for probably a good year, for numerous reasons, and moved here, and I've fallen in love with it again, and me and Mark have become pretty good pals, as he said, we train together, and I've met a lot of good people through him, and fallen in love with it again. And with Mark's assistance, supplements, and I'm not endorsed by Mark, but been around the industry a long while, and not much I haven't tried. And I've got to say, with that, along with the way I'm eating now, I'm training now, I've just come on leaps and bounds. I've put on a ton of what I would call quality weight since I've been here. I mean, Mark's seen me walk in here.
Yeah.
I felt pretty pathetic at the time, but yeah, I feel great now. And it's it's just good to be sort of back again and doing things like this. Yeah, it keeps you thriving.
Good. So I asked for questions from you guys. Thank you very much indeed. We've got some cracking ones actually, which I wouldn't expect any less of you. So if I run through the questions, I'm going to fire them at Bodhi. I'll try and keep my gob shut because you know it's very difficult for me to be quiet. But I might pitch in now and again, that's all right.
Amazing.
So I'm just going to run them in no particular order, guys. So this one, I know who most of these are from. How would you advise someone to stay motivated? So this person I know has lost their mojo a little bit, and it kind of comes and goes. Have you got any advice for this particular guy?
Yeah, good question. Having been there, as I said a while ago, how to keep motivated. You could do something as much as change gyms. Sometimes a new scene, some new kit, new equipment, even if it's not permanently, maybe a day or two a week, depending on how many times a week you're training. New people, new vibe, music, anything down to that might sort of give you a little bit of a kick. You know, depending on what else is going on in your life, try and get good sleep. And as cheesy as it sounds, but I know this is becoming quite mainstream now, you know, focus on your mental health. Surround yourself, honestly, with good, positive people. Remove yourself from people that sort of walk around and like, you know, sort of like this. You know, me and Mark talk about this a lot, and we're both very, you know, regardless of what's going on in the background, we're positive people. That's our shit. Can I say that? You know, we're, you know, ultimately, do your hardest. And I don't like the word try. Try's a bit of a cop out. Do it. Bring yourself up, get your head in there, and just know, and for someone who stepped away from the gym for a long while, it was the worst thing I ever could have done. If it's something you enjoy, use that as your medicine. It's medicinal as well as, you know, physical, and, you know, just remember every time you step in there, it's good for you. And as I say, find yourself a good training partner. I know some of us like to train alone, but honestly, it's nice to know you're kind of accountable to someone else sometimes. Don't want to let your pal down, whoever it is. So yeah, maybe new scenery, new training partner, even a new workout track, you know. And I will say this, please, 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 stay off your phone in the gym. That does not help your motivation. If you want to get motivated before you go, maybe watch a cool video. We might even do some training videos. Watch one of them, they will get you juiced up. But whilst you're in there, stay off your phone, keep your head in the workout, and yeah, and the other things I mentioned.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the big things I picked up on that, I think, was your workout partners. And I think if you've got someone of a like mindset, like me and you, competitive, we're at form, we'll make it as hard as possible for each other, which is what bodybuilding is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We're not powerlifters, so, you know, powerlifting lifts weights as efficiently as possible, bodybuilders as inefficiently as possible to stress and traumatize their muscle. If you've got someone who's willing to do that for you and encourage you, and that's the key. One of the guy that actually said this, I went to train with him and his friend on Friday last week, and they were kind of in there, and all we did was we encouraged each other throughout the whole hour. Complete encouragement, well done, awesome, another one, and pushed each other. They were both buzzing at the end of it. So this was the guy who actually put this in before we did that. I think if you get the right training partner and switch them around, and maybe it's training gyms, get a good atmosphere. Absolutely 100%, totally agree with you, mate. 100%. Next question, what's the best training split in your opinion?
In my opinion, and it is only my opinion, what is a bit calm? I really enjoy, and I find it effective. So split, I would do a push day. I would try and start the week out with legs. So I do legs, push, pull, and then I will do an arm day. Not to digress, but just the reason I do that, my arms for me are a visibly weak point. I'm quite strong on arms, but as a visible point, they was never something that I liked. So yeah, legs, push, pull, arms. I might on the arm day throw a little bit more shoulders in there as well. Regards to frequency, I would, again, funnily enough, we was talking about this earlier to someone. I'm either instinctive. If I want to go to the gym, I'll go to the gym, and I might go 5 days in a row. I think for efficiency and for, we all know, or if you don't know, you should know, we grow when we're not training. Assuming you've done you've caused the trauma, you've trained hard, you're eating right, you grow when you're not in the gym. And some of you will have that bug where you want to go every day, twice a day. If you are like that, take the pedal off a little bit. I would do 2 on, 1 off, and just rotate it. 2 every days on, 1 day off. It kind of helps you with that hunger. After a heavy leg day, in all honesty, I sometimes feel the need to have the next day off, just because my central nervous system's tapped, and I feel I just know I won't give it my all. But again, you've got to go by how you feel. There is no best body split. There is no miracle split. And I said this to Mark earlier, whether it's training or diet, you're only as good as what you can stick with, assuming it's benefiting you. So if you want to do Monday to Friday and have weekends off because it suits your lifestyle, that's fine. At least you're getting 2 days rest. You come back Monday, up for it. But in my opinion, I would do a 2 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off.
Yeah, fair play. I think everyone's got there's a million opinions on that, and it's different. Mine's 3 on, 1 off, ironically, but I get exactly what you said, and I wouldn't argue with you. I wouldn't disagree with that, because I'd agree with that as well.
It's like this week, I'm training tonight, quite late with someone, our good friend Dean Clarkey. I've done 4 days on the trot. Yeah. But I feel great. Yeah. Come tomorrow, I'm determined to have a day off because I feel I need it, even if I don't want it. But yeah.
It's them never enough supplements, man. That's what's doing it. Right, good, right, brilliant. How often would you change things up regarding your routine? And I've got strong opinions in this, and I don't know what your opinions are on this actually, so it'll be interesting.
It's something we never tapped into really.
Yeah. So how often would you change your routine around?
There's many ways to change something, isn't there? We can change exercise order, exercises, reps, speed, loads of things. I think, to be honest, years ago I was very regimented. Yeah. I would have a workout all written down. This is long before people took phones in the gyms.
You don't like phones in gyms, do you?
Only place the phone has in a gym is if you're playing your music off it, and I see people, I'm doing it now, I'm ranting, in between sets on their phone. If you're with a training partner, focus on your partner, keep the phone out of the way. Anyway, so yeah, I used to be very regimented so that I could monitor what I was lifting each lift. So I'd do everything in the same order for the same amount of reps and progressively get stronger. And I think that's a great way, especially if you are relatively new to this. It's a great way to monitor stuff, and then change that up every 3 months, 12, 13 weeks, yeah? Because it's easy to gauge. Now, I pretty much vary everything up every time I go in. I'm a big advocate of pre-exhaust. So for those of you that don't know what that is, so if you was doing chest, we use good old chest, you pre-exhaust the muscle maybe with an isolation like the pec deck, which me and Mark have done on quite a few occasions. You just find the movements after that muscle will fire up a lot quicker. When we do legs, we do a lot of leg extensions before we leg press, squat, etc. But I would say for someone who's really looking to progress in the beginning parts of their training, I personally would say to them, keep everything regimented and look to get stronger and tighter on your movements for 3 months and then change it up. For someone who then knows what works for them, you can change it up every time you go into the gym. If variety is the spice of life, but it's how often do you vary it? It's, again, you've got to enjoy this, otherwise you're not going to keep going.
Yeah, no, I think that.
Sorry, I know that wasn't a clear answer.
I agree. I think I tend to get people to change out every 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
If they're doing the same routine, just to shock the system. But like you're saying, if you're changing it up every day, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't recommend that at all. I'm a bit like you. I like the pre-exhaust. I like the old school stuff: giant sets, triceps, supersets. Just pain, basically, and I think that's
stimulus.
Yes,
Stimulation.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But good, valid point. I think you do need to change it up. There's so many people. I used to run a gym in Newcastle, the Bodhi Zone centre in Newcastle, 3 stories warehouse, and every lunchtime, 2 bank managers used to come in, Scottish lad and another lad, and they trained for an hour and a half hard, like proper hard. So Monday it was chest, Tuesday it was legs, Wednesday it was back. 5 days a week. They never changed much at all. In the year I watched them. And yet my clients were changing within 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks. Wow. And it took them about 8 months to come to see this young lad who'd come into the gym at early 20s and ask his advice. So these guys are bank managers and I'm just making people great. And they said, what we're doing wrong? I said, you're not changing it up enough. You're not stimulating that muscle. So you're training hard. Your technique and form's great, but your muscles know what they're doing. It's ready for you. Yeah. You're not engaging the central nervous system to be shocked. Yeah. You're not muscle stimuli. Is what it's all about. Absolutely. So, absolutely agree with you.
And this is the thing. This is the thing with change. There's so many factors that you can change in your training. Load, speed of rep.
Yeah.
Tempo.
Yeah.
Order. It's countless. So that's why I said in the beginning if you keep a journal, and not enough of us do it. Mark actually sells them in the shop. It's good. Keep a journal, and maybe like Mark says, whether it's 3 to 4 weeks or 3 months, keep a journal of what you're doing, what you're lifting, how the set feel. Make a little note at the end. That was, I pushed out 10 with X amount, just about, or you can look back over this. And that's a good way to progress. Once you sort of realise what works for you, and that takes different times for each of us, then you can kind of have a bit more fun with it and move it around a bit.
Yeah, cool. Next one is, I don't even want to say this. Let's go with them. Let's do them all. So what's your biggest frustration that you see in gyms? Apart from, we've got the phones out of the way, yeah?
Phones,
So you've said phones,
I've
right?
said phones.
If any. You might not have any.
Yeah, there are. Frustration.
We've only got a certain amount of time tonight, right?
It's not it's a little bit. It's like the blind leading the blind. A mate who goes to the gym, who has a mate come along with him, and the mate who's already going to the gym in the nicest possible way, doesn't really know what he's doing. He's then leading his mate, who's new to it and wants to compete with his mate. They're both trying to outlift each other. I think, a more valid point would be people not leaving their ego at the door. People trying to lift too much weight at any cause, rather than realising what they should be doing. I mean, this is, I think I've read through the questions briefly anyway, but Mark's going to get to this part. I think it's nice to find someone that you respect enough and is good at what they do, whether they look the part. Again, that doesn't always come down to training. That could be genetic. We all got a mate at school or college or growing up who looked great, didn't eat great, didn't really train that hard, just looked great. But if he was to take you into the gym, you'd listen to him because of the way he looks. He looks like a superhero. Doesn't mean that he knows what he's doing. You really got to try and find someone that you trust, that you've seen train. I mean, Mark, in the time I've known him, gets approached all the time, and even myself, you know, people come over and say things like, "Oh, you train like a beast," or "You do this," or "We see you guys go." We was doing legs once, and someone come over and was like, "Oh my God, it's like watching Tom Platz train legs," which I took as a massive compliment.
I thought you saw about me. Did you talk about you?
Not our legs, but it was our legs. But the intensity that we train at, and I think that's, I mean, there's a quick answer. What is frustrating, I think people just doing stuff that is dangerous and that just isn't doing them any justice. Fad exercises, you know, what worked 50 years ago works today. Things do improve, technology improves, advice can improve. It's, you know, it's frustrating, you know, just to see people doing stuff, walking through those magic doors of that gym's not enough. You know, you've got to do what works, and source yourself someone who you really trust.
Yeah.
Either one of us.
Yeah. I could have picked one of 1,000 different frustrations in the gym there, right? Like chalk on the floor, people not putting their weights back, lads wearing too tight leggings, so you know, fruit and veggies on display, people on phones, people doing more interested in doing a posing routine in between every exercise. Do them at the end, absolutely great to do them at the end. But the one thing that does frustrate me the most, exactly what you said, ironically, exactly the same, I think ego lifting, trying to lift too much with bad form, bouncing it off your chest, or, you know, breaking your back on a hip flexing move when you're doing your like pull down or something. Totally agree with you, and I think, you know, training smart, it'll get you results, not lifting more than you can lift. And
totally. I mean, we all start somewhere. We all got to start somewhere. You know, if you're very new to this, then, you know, social media is great. But the bad thing about it is you will be watching routines of the pros, people you aspire to look like, which is great. You can't train like those people. You can't lift the weight these people lift in the nicest way, unless you're an absolute genetic freak. Start small. Form is absolute key.
Yeah, agreed.
You've got to know your form. Once you've done that, then you can start to add pounds, you can start to add weight, you can have a bit of fun with it. I'm all for that. As a trainer for the time I used to work with people and train with people that had trained already with their mates, and you'd say to them, sorry to use it as an example again, but on chest day, you say, "Oh, what do you normally bench?" Everyone wanted the magic 100, 2 plates aside. You sort of think to yourself, there's no way you're benching 100 kilos because you can't lift it today. So either their mates over spotted them, or they're just trying to shift this weight up with everything they've got, not even focusing on their chest. You know, they just want to have a massive bench press. And if you look at a big bench presser, they haven't particularly got great chests. You know, you've got to feel, I know it sounds a bit cheesy, but we talk about, you've got to feel something working. You've got to fire it up and feel it being stimulated.
I think we both do that when we train. I've noticed we're both touchy people. So we're training chest, for example, I'd be touching your chest to feel the engagement. Me touching you is then mind connection you with me touching you.
It does. You've got to be careful if you're training mind doing that. But yeah, if you, even someone, I used to do this to clients all the time, so if they was doing lat raises for their shoulders, I'd literally just tap their shoulders. Straight away they think.
Yeah, connection.
Like Mark said, pec, feel it flex. You feel someone doing that, you straight away you want to flex against it. Legs, all that. So even just a tap or a scratch on that area, not glutes, obviously you get in trouble. But yeah, it does put your mind into it.
Right, sorry about the dog, everyone. You know, she never leaves my side. Okay, is faster better than slower in terms of tempo for growth? That's an interesting question, that.
Overall, short answer, slow and controlled. I am of the school of thought, and this always used to work for me. I used to think of lifts as a coiled spring. So on a squat, sink into the squat deliberately, slowly. Put the brakes on at the bottom, just a tiny little momentary pause, and then drive up. Not ballistically, but with force. So I would normally say 2 to 3 second descent, 1 second up.
Yeah.
So you imagine pushing a big spring down, it's going to take a bit more effort and time to get it down, but it's going to come up fast. But as I say, don't come up sloppy. What me and Mark would sometimes say to people, don't throw a weight up, contract it up, deliberate. I would say, because people always say, oh, what's the best rep range for growing? I wouldn't say it was a number, as in reps, I would say it would more be time. So I would 35 to 45 seconds for a set, even if that's a drop set, you're drawing it out, that's what's going to create that growth, and that's what you would call time under tension.
Yeah.
So someone's 10 reps might take them 15 seconds. If I was training you or with you, I'd want to slow that down, because you are going to feel every rep of that exercise. Yeah, so slow and control.
Yeah.
Possibly with a contraction at the top.
I think both have an effect for different reasons, physiologically and stuff. Well, again, I agree with you. I've always trained slow and controlled,
yeah,
and I always encourage other people to. I think there is a place, depending, like say, if you
sport specific.
I
think sport specific.
Exactly,
if we're talking purely growth and hypertrophy, I think
we are. So
I think the benefits of that is, one, you stimulate the muscle more efficiently. 2, you almost eliminate the possibility of injury, because you're loading the muscles, not just the joints, and you're not bouncing out the movements. Yeah. Perfect.
The next one: fasted cardio or not fasted cardio?
Fasted.
Me too.
It's worked for millennia. It works.
Okay, I agree. Training twice a day, yes or no, as far as you're concerned, if people have the time?
Yeah, well, yeah. If you are fortunate enough to either be able to manage your time right, or you've got the time, yeah. I mean, some of the best physiques in the world have worked on an AM and PM split. There's a guy, Stan Efferding, they refer to as the Rhino, great coach online, big guy. Didn't even do any cardio to get in shape, because he was doing an AM and a PM split. So if you was able to do that, maybe a big body part or a smaller body part, but again, like Mark said, if your lifestyle allows it, some people might say training twice a day might be the fasted cardio, and then they train weights in the evening, or vice versa.
Yeah.
If you're able to do it, yeah, by all means.
I think it's good. We often do a 12-week challenge every year, and it's more physique. It's organically gone more to bodybuilding challenge rather than I'm overweight, I want to lose weight in 12 weeks. It has gone and evolved. And one of the clients that did it this year, a guy called Sid, who trains at Winners, he was doing morning cardio and training weights in the night, and his transformation in just 12 weeks was incredible by that. I was reading some recent data which was new to me completely, so I'm not even going to be professed to be more clever or I'm on the ball. It was only last week I was watching this recent trial they'd done, and they'd taken 2 groups of people, and one group they gave them, said it was legs. So with legs, we probably do 10 sets of leg extensions, 10 sets of fucking curls, 10 sets of squats, and 10 sets of hack squats, and 10 sets of leg press. There'd be a routine. Started with half an hour's worth of calves, which Clarky missed actually, ironically. Yeah. So what they suggested is they'd do that beasting workout. One group would do it in the morning. The other group would half it, so it'd be 5 sets, 5 sets, 5 sets. Do the 5 sets, half that workout in the morning, then go back again in the evening and do the other half of the workout.
Yeah.
And what they found in 8 weeks was the group that did that twice a day increased muscle mass by over 3 times the amount, which that is literally off the press.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's insane. So I was trying to work out how the hell is that possible. And my thought was that the central nervous system, you get into a rhythm. So the first few warm-up sets, you're sort of engaging the muscle, then you're stimulating the muscle. And so by the 8th and 9th one, when you're saying you slept with my wife and I'm saying I hate you, and to get more reps out, then we go through that. What they're suggesting is your central nervous will get into a rhythm and it will get used to it. So it's them first really 4 or 5 reps, sets, to activate the growth. Then you ease off for the day, let your central nervous system chill out. You're doing that process again. So you're activating muscle stimuli twice a day. And that's the theory. But I'd agree again, I hate agreeing with you on everything. Big group, small muscle group, or big group cardio. You know, so
I mean, again, like you say, it's new data, but I mean, I mean, from a training point of view, I mean, when me and Mark and a significant other train together, sometimes we go a little bit crazy. We're not. When he said 10 cents a leg extension, he's not lying.
It is a bit mad, isn't it?
Would I do that every workout?
I couldn't, mate. I couldn't.
It just becomes a little bit sick and nasty, but that's good fun sometimes. That comes back to our first question, you know, what keeps you motivated? So it's nice to do those nutty, mad. I mean, I think we was in there about 2 hours, to which everybody would probably say, oh, it's too long to train. You know what? We enjoyed it. We crushed it. I tried to lift, like my leg workout last night was a lot lower volume. Equally as intense, almost, but it was just a lot less sets. You know, so you've got a real warm up, or what I call rehearsal set, prime it, and then smash it, maybe with a drop set or a deload set or something like that. And you know, you're in and out there a lot quicker. But you know, again, it comes down to what you got, you know, time.
I did say I'd read all of these out. I know who this is from. This is a taxi driver. He's got a beautiful beard. He's called Stuart Ford. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Stuart, dogs every day. Dogs.
All day.
Yeah, that's Stuart, silly question. Come on. Let's have a look. Lagging body parts. You mentioned your biceps. You know, I mean, this is new to me. I don't believe I have any, but legs with me, and I'll let you know what my answer is to that. What would you do to bring on the lagging body? Let's say it is arms. What would your advice be?
First of all, people will talk a lot about, or have done over time, about overtraining. To overtrain, you've got to do some serious work. So most people don't get anywhere near overtraining. For a lagging body part, I would prioritise it at the beginning of a workout, and I would probably, you know, within a 7-day period, hit it twice. So rather than going Monday to Monday, maybe Monday come Thursday, Friday, hit it again. My biceps recently, probably can't tell with this jacket on, but no, I mean, my arms, we're all our own biggest critics, and I know that my arms have grown, and I will throw, you know, my tries in on my push day, my buys on my pull day, my back day, and then, but not as much to tear the tissue down, but just to completely flood the muscle with blood. And then I will do an arm day. So within that week, I've hit it twice, but in 2 kind of different ways, because if I was to tear it down too much, it's got to have time to recoup, grow, etc. So in 2 different ways. So I would definitely up it to twice a day. We were talking earlier, calves, yes, calves, 3 days a week. 3 days a week, and they will respond to a lot of trauma because they carry you everywhere. So, you know, don't neglect your legs, and definitely don't neglect your calves.
Brilliant. No, good about mine's my legs, as you know, and I train them where I can twice a week. So I'm doing exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely.
There was some recent stuff came on. You can tell I've been doing a lot of sad research recently. And there is a suggestion. There was a trial done in Norway, and what they did is they trained, for example, it was arms, every day for 30 days. But the thing was, it for 5 or 6 days a week. But the thing they did is the first day you had a rep range between 2 and 6 reps. The second day it had to be between 7 and 12 reps. The day after that it had to be up to like 20 reps, and then 20 reps and beyond, and then you went back down to 1 or 2. And there was some quite impressive increases over a 30-day period.
Yeah,
which came on, but
yeah.
like you said, that's mixing it up.
Yeah,
know?
you can't. Yeah, I mean, you are. I mean, I think if you've got your muscle is a casing. Think of it as the skin of a cucumber. So the cucumber is the actual muscle, and you've got something on the outside called a fascia. So the more you stretch that fascia, so with pump work, so with maybe higher reps, so on the days you're not physically doing that muscle in your routine, but you maybe, so if it is arms, for example, you think, oh, at the end of every day, every workout you do, you're going to throw in some curls and some press downs, but just to flush it with blood. You know when you get that real skin tight pump, but it's not enough trauma to tear the muscle down, so you're not going to overtrain it, but you're letting that muscle know, hey, I can grow that much bigger. Because you know when you do that, you are pumped, your arms might be an inch bigger, but then the glycogen goes and they reduce again, but you've tore muscle down. Still do that out and out session on that body part or two, but it wouldn't. I mean, I did for my arms a few years ago. I think almost every workout I would just do something at the end just to flush, even after legs being completely knackered. I'd get on a preacher or something where I haven't got to concentrate too much and just flush a load of blood in there. And it does work. I knew a guy had done it once for his delts, for his side raises. He'd do about 3 or 4 sets at the end of every workout, concentrated, not too heavy, just to flush them with blood, and his shoulders come out, So Arnie, that's why we all do it. I think he ate his carbs every day back in the 70s or whenever it was, just to make them grow. So you could go against the grain, do it every day, but like we've said, in the fashion where you're not tearing them down as such, you're just reminding them.
Stimuli. Get asked this a ton of times myself. I'll throw it in there because I say, how much protein would you recommend a day to maximise gains? And another massively contentious issue with people.
Reality, and having toyed around with this myself, going through the stages of thinking, do I need that much, don't I need that much? Yes, you do. I would go with at least, and regardless of what else you might be taking, at least a gram per pound of lean body weight. So if you are 200 pounds, just as a nice round number, and you're happy at 200 pounds, but you just want to change your body composition, so you want to get leaner, but you don't really want to lose any weight, 200 grams of protein. If you want to be around about 180, then about 180 grams of protein. If you're a really hard gainer, without bringing all the other macros and nutrients in, you go 1.5. But it's difficult to get in, and as much of that as you can from food. Supplements are exactly that. They can help give you a little boost. Even Mark would say that, and he owns a business. Supplements are exactly that. There are supplements of what you can't get from your everyday eating. So at least a gram per pound.
Yeah. I've discussions with lots of different people in my industry. I had a big interesting discussion, I think many years ago when I did a PT level 3, so they were suggesting a gram per kilo. Seems to be the man, if you're lifting weights and ripping muscle and tissue, you ain't gonna get anywhere.
And I've heard that. It's almost half of what we're talking about, and that's down to that's more medical practitioners. That's your bare human consumption per day to
not get ill,
to stay alive.
Basically,
that's nothing to do with muscle growth or hypertrophy. Gram per pound minimum. And anyone who knows anything will tell you the same.
I agree. I mean, and from someone my perspective, kind of coming into my house as it were now, I deal in nutrition, as you guys know. At least a minimum, an absolute bare minimum of a gram per pound, as far as I'm concerned, and that again is from years like Bodhi, years of experience dealing with athletes on a basic level, intermediate level, professional level, world class level. Some athletes are on 2 grams per pound, and they excelled. So it's about what suits you, but yeah, 100% agree with that answer, and it's quite nice to hear that answer from someone else.
From all different sources as well, you know, be it from eggs, steak, fish, chicken, get it from an array of foods. Yeah.
Right, just reading ahead here. I'm going to ask them all, okay? I said I would. Is a personal trainer worth the money?
Worth the money?
Well, we've both been personal trainers for many years.
I'm worth every penny.
Yeah.
You're worth every penny.
Is a personal trainer worth the money? Yes, I'll leave that one to you, my friend.
If you got a good one, is my answer. And I will say this, I don't claim to know everything. Mark doesn't claim to know everything. One thing I would say, and I'm very confident in my ability as a trainer, I'm meticulous, Mark's meticulous, there's attention to detail. As a trainer, you are there to coach someone. So if you're looking for a personal trainer, they are there not only to motivate you, which is important, they are there to guide you, give you sound advice and coach you on a movement, not to feed your ego and not to give you some sort of circus act just because no one else in the gym is doing it. So if you've got a trainer like that, get rid of them quick. A good one's worth their weight in gold. A coach, a trainer. The trouble is with the industry at the moment, anyone can qualify as a personal trainer, call themselves a personal trainer, even if they don't really train themselves and they just fancy it as a life, as a job, because they like being in a gym. It's like you pass your driving test at 18 years old, doesn't make you a good driver. You know how to drive the basics, doesn't make you a good driver. Passing as a, and again, I'm not knocking anyone who wants to become a trainer, but you will continuously learn, and in the nicest way, more or less what you learn on that course. And I was saying this to one of the trainers the other day in one of the clubs we train in. He was a really nice lad. More or less forget everything you learned on that course, because there is no follow-up to those courses, there's no aftercare, you train, you let loose, and I've seen, and I will say this in the nicest way, I've seen some trainers recently where we train,
this is about your opinions. It's
that if I was managing that club, you wouldn't be working there anymore, you get taken aside and retrained, because you are there to make sure someone is training effectively, safely. That's what they're paying you for, not for stuff they could do on their own. And I saw someone, I don't know him, but I've seen him a couple of times, standing next to his client with his arms crossed, which straight away for me ain't good body language. Doesn't look like you're interacting with someone, and they were just swinging these weights about. And I said to the guy I was training with, Dean, and I just looked at him and he went, "What?" I said, "I'm sorry." I said, "I'm beside myself." I said, "I can't believe that." Yeah, they're worth it if you can find a good one. We're all learning. We're all continuously learning. But what works. If you go to someone like Mark, and I'm not just saying this because I'm sitting here with him, I'd say this to anyone, there's not much he don't know. If you don't know, he won't pretend to know. Myself, tap me up if you want, I'll be happy to help you. But yeah, it's hard to find a good one because there's so many out there now.
There is, and it seems like these level 3s are like a production line.
It is a conveyor. As a business model, it's great. Come in, pay for your course. Might be a couple of grand at a time. I think there's one at the moment advertising for $699.
Right.
Become a personal trainer in 10 weeks. I haven't commented on them because I'll go off on a rant and I'll probably get blocked. But I don't care how much it is. It's just upsetting because it's not. there should be, and I actually ran a business years ago where we would help qualified trainers improve their business. I wasn't very well liked because basically what you're saying to them is what you've learned doesn't work because you are there to get people results.
Yeah.
And the finger will always come back at you, the trainer.
Yeah.
You know, so.
No, I appreciate that honesty. I don't expect anything else from you, Bodhi. I think it's good. Okay, and I'd say that. Is a personal trainer worth it? To be very short and sweet. Good ones are, yes. Good ones are. So, what would... biggest mistakes of people starting out at the gym? Have we covered that with lifting too much, do you think? Or?
Yeah, trying to lift too much weight. Yeah, wanting results overnight. Yeah.
This is good. I get asked this a lot, actually. Have you had this? Will heavy lifting make women bigger? That's obviously by a woman.
Short answer, no.
Correct, agreed.
No.
Sorry, I didn't mean correct. That's really pedantic of me. Yeah, I
I
agree. Sorry.
No. You, every woman, I would always train women like I train men.
Yeah.
And they would get in the best shapes of their lives. You will still see women going into gyms, not as much around here, mine, I must say, which is really refreshing. There's a lot of women around here that train properly, better than a lot of the guys, because women don't have as much ego, and they all train with weights. And they train pretty strict, to be fair.
Yeah.
But no, it's not going to make you look like a guy. You don't possess the hormones, for starters. It's hard enough for us. But I'll definitely say to women, stop doing loads of cardio and lift weights. You'll get in the best shape of your life. And you'll prevent osteoporosis.
Good. Yeah, agreed on all of them points. Doug, talking to Bodhi, thank you. Right, high intensity interval training or longer and steady cardio for cutting. Again, you can argue till the cows come home. There's loads of people on this one. Everyone seems to have an opinion on it. I've got my opinion.
Both work.
Yeah, that's my opinion.
Both work. It's what you enjoy. Me, I hate cardio. I would prefer to do drills. So whether that was running down a car park, walking back, running, coming back, or intervals on a treadmill, a recumbent bike, anything like that, I like to do drills because I would do that for 10, 15 minutes. You're firing, the argument is you're in more of an anabolic state as opposed to aerobic, and it's not long enough to eat into muscle tissue anyway. So there's, you know, but longer durated, gentle cardio, fasted as we touched on earlier, or last thing at night. If some people do both, it works. You know, how much time you've got around your lifestyle, they both work.
Yeah, agreed. I couldn't 100% agree with you. How important is sleep to training, in your opinion?
Massively.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, everyone talks about you've got to have your 8 hours. There was a study a while ago that I read that was suggesting as long as it's in 4-hour increments, so you could have 4 hours, you could have 8 hours, but don't have 5 or 6. You know, again, how big are these studies for how long?
Yeah.
You've got to listen to, you know, we're all aware of stress and stress hormones in the body that are not going to be good, you know, because we're talking about growing and, you know, making it, you know, growing optimally. What can we all do to get in the best shape and grow muscle? Yeah, you need your rest, you need quality rest, quality sleep. Keep your lights off, turn your phone off, get it away from you, no bright lights. Things like candlelight, feeling a bit romantic, or a salt lamp, soft light, fine. There's actually benefits to salt lamps in a room, oxygenation, etc. But yeah, soft light, natural, but not any bright electrical lights. When I was training years ago, and I was working really hard, I had a very physical job as well. I was probably having 6 hours. I felt fine, it didn't hinder my growth. In an ideal world, 8, as we all know, that number keeps coming up for a reason. You know, there is a reason behind it. But yeah, rest is important. Rest is massively important. It will keep your cortisol down, which is your stress hormone. And you know, you want to wake up naturally feeling good, not feeling groggy.
Yeah, brilliant. The last one I wrote, so I'm not. It was is Hammy and me as badass as people really say. You don't have to answer that question.
Badder.
But Bodhi,
catch him on the wrong day in the gym.
It's been an absolute pleasure, my friend. That's been really enlightening, genuinely.
Thank you.
So nice to meet someone else who has very similar opinions on things as I do, because I'm quite outspoken as well, and it's quite nice to meet someone where, you know, I don't have to argue with them the points, which is great. Everything you said, I appreciate the fact you thought about, and you've been honest and straight talking, and that's what I love about having you as a training partner, as a friend, and being part of you know, educating people. I think that's about people like you with experience and knowledge, people like me with experience and knowledge. And I think if you guys can tap into these sort of things, you're going to grow yourself. I mean, I'm going home tonight. I'll be in bed by 9 o'clock as usual. And my current reading is I'm rereading something that I've read 500 times. It's the Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding, Arnold Schwarzenegger's copy. And, you know, I never get sick of it. I talk training all day. I train with you. I train with Clark. I train with other people. I love it. Yeah. And I think that's the beautiful thing. And it's like we said, I think this, my wife started to go to church on a Sunday. I go to my church and I meet Bodhi there with a couple of lads on a Sunday and we tear it up.
Yeah,
and
we have a great,
I think we feel better than a lot of people who go to church at the end of it. You know, so
we have a great time.
Yeah.
But you've got to enjoy this. So like I said in the beginning, we said in the beginning, you know, if your best plan is what you can stick to, be it frequency, body split, food. I hope, me and Mark have mentioned it, I hope that I know that Mark's going to have other people coming, probably going through the same questions. Again, they're all going to have their opinion.
Yeah.
I don't imagine it's going to differ too much from what we've said. But hopefully we do this a little bit more between us as well. About every other topic we can, mostly training, some might not be, might just be about life. But no, you've got to enjoy this. And the thing I find when you meet the right training partner or the right people in the gym, even if you don't train with them, it's about that brother sisterhood. You know, you've got that clique of people, and that is what keeps you, you know, because this is our social, this is for a lot of people, this is your social outlet as well as something you enjoy doing. Yeah. And you've got to enjoy doing it. So if someone's telling you to their blue in the face, you must do it if it works for you. Even when it comes down to exercises, someone's going to say, oh, what's the best exercise for this? There isn't one. It's what works for you, what feels, what was that word I used? Anatomically.
Correct. Yeah.
Anatomically comfortable. Go with it. If you're using a bar that your mate's using and it don't feel comfortable, then don't do it. You know, but we could go on and on.
Yeah.
And Mark knows me, I probably would. So, Mark, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, likewise.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Thank you very much for answering those questions.
It's yes.
Are you available for PTing still? If people are interested.
I am kicking off again. So it'll be Bodhi by Bodhi. So I'm even looking to do a sort of channel myself. So I'll be collaborating with Mark.
Brilliant. Good.
For those of you that come into the shop, I will leave some cards here. If any one of you before that wants to get hold of me, I'm between Winners in Torquay and Payton, or come into the shop and ask Mark.
Yeah.
Give him my number. Yeah. It's not a problem. But yeah, anyone who's willing. If you see me in the gym, you want to come up and ask me a question, as long as it's not mid-set, feel free. But no, yeah, definitely for the right people that want to work hard, no BS approach. Yeah, by all means.
Awesome. Worth it. Very well worth it from experience. So, as again, my man.
Nice one, brother.
Thank you very much indeed.
Take care. Take care, everyone.
Cheers, guys.